Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Nick the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. Give y'all a little bit of time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. Um, First things first, hopefully everybody had a blessed and productive Sunday and a productive weekend and a safe one on top of that. For those who might be recuperating from recent surgery or whatever, healing prayers to those definitely. And those who might have been going through some mental breakdowns, same thing, healing prayers. Appreciate everybody that tuned in earlier for the conversation. Definitely was a good one. Missed it, catch the replay. But what's going on, my guy? Appreciate everybody that tuned in on the backup page. For those who felt cheated, yeah, you kind of got cheated. They rudely disrespected us, but it is what it is. For the time frame that we had, we definitely rocked out. So today is part two, but it's going to be a little mix up and a twist up again. Some of it is going to be recovering from last night, and some stuff we're going to be covering about things we heard earlier. I think it's time for some of y'all to start being more reasonable about the choices that you're making in life. Earlier we heard something, and again, prayers to Buzzy and her moms, because it's sad that again that here it is. You got people living their lives not expecting certain things to happen, and it's happening in broad day. And some of it is, I'm not gonna lie, some of it that's going on is because of unemployment. For those who might not have been in here earlier, Buzzy mom was attacked last night. And this is the thing I'm talking about. 88 years old, and you would try to call somebody like that or attack them for what reason? I've always felt that when you start going that low and that out of pocket, you deserve every bit of justice that comes your way. Because it makes no sense that you would try to even think about doing something along those lines. What does picking on the elderly really get you? Absolutely nothing. You know. And again, you're gonna have some instances where some of y'all are gonna think that that's the way to go, and some of these elders are gonna have something for you. I'm telling you, gotta think logical in life and think about what you know. You know, and see the ones prime example that attack people on that level. Some of them be on drugs, and that's the sad part about it. It don't matter if it's the pills, don't matter if it's the dope, no matter what it is. It's like they seem to make careless mistakes when they on those type of drugs, and then they realize it later on after they already had to pay for whatever consequence might have came along their way. So in that same instance, I'm gonna say, it's time for y'all to wrap your brains around doing something else outside of that. You know, find something that you know you could get into. You feeding a habit or doing whatever like that should not have to come at the cost of somebody else, especially somebody well in their 80s. Like again, this is a problem, and I feel for every time that some of y'all happen to do that, y'all deserve what's going on. Y'all deserve every bit of an ass whooping that's coming towards your way. Sorry, you do. Willis, what's going on, my guy? I just had to chime in with that situation from earlier with Buzzy. Um, Again, I don't know what some of y'all get out of that, and some of y'all actually enjoy that. That's cool. Like that's just the way to do it. Yeah, you keep failing to realize also that these people have kids or grandkids that they ain't trying to hear that. You put your hands on them, You done did specific things. They ain't trying to hear that. They trying to hurt you the same way you just hurt them. Do believe in that karma. You go picking out fights for the wrong people. You gonna get exactly what's coming to you. And again, it's sad because some of y'all really need to leave the drugs alone because it's obvious the drugs is what's getting to you. There's no way you gonna tell me you felt comfortable in any way, shape, or form attacking an elderly woman or an elderly man, even on that notion. Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to start really using your logic. What is that going to get you besides heartache or jail? Because imagine if you, even if it was just a simple quote unquote robbery, what would have happened if that person would have had a heart attack, stroke, aneurysm, would have just had any type of illness that would have ended up having them dying right then and there? What if they had died from specific bruises and injuries? What you would have did then? Yeah, you can't do nothing. Now you either got to run for life or you might as well turn yourself in. And the majority of y'all want to run. I feel like this. No real man, no real woman should run. If you sat here and wanted to be Billy Bad A and all that other stuff, all right, well, guess what? Man up to what happens when the consequences come back to you. Man up on that. BMF, what's going on, my guy? Because real people are going to stand for whatever they did. And that's what I'm saying. You're not thinking. These is parents, grandparents, and just because you having a drug induced situation, that don't mean you're supposed to necessarily think along those lines of harming somebody. And this is why I'm saying if you know you can't even support your own habit, then I think you shouldn't even be having the habit in the first place. That was just like back in the day when certain people was like, "Yo, son, it's called Newports, not supports." I understood what that means because you can't sit here and be doing something in particular. It doesn't matter what you know, but you can't even support your habit. And then you feel the way to support your habit is trying to harm somebody. 702, what's going on, baby? It's not right. Because again, now what if that person, even if it been the simplest starter, because sometimes some people do end up catching heart attacks, especially if they've been scared too badly or they got a weak heart. Some people have a stroke, especially if they done been spazzing out or they done got too upset and stressed out. So what would have happened if that person would have died, God forbid? Now look at you. You'd have had to run for life or you'd have had to just give yourself up. Nah, I know, bro. I know how you feel about it, but again, this is my thing for a lot of y'all. You got to stop just delving on that stuff too. If you've been good long enough, stay off of it. Like I see some people who they have this delusional thinking that they can stop whenever they want to stop. Certain drugs you're not going to be able to stop again because once it's in your system, it's in your system. And this is my thing though. When it comes to certain drugs of certain natures, guess what? That's what we're gonna have a problem with. People doing stuff like that along those lines. James, what's going on, my guy? And see, I feel like this in these instances right here, if you see something happening along those lines, you see an elderly woman, elderly man, or even a young kid or a teen getting accosted by who's supposed to be quote unquote adults, even young adults, and they look like it could get crazy, intervene. Because a 9 out of 10, depending on how the movements is, you can tell that somebody definitely on drugs. And they just trying to do whatever to get that little quick fix. And seeing that's the thing we have to. This is where we have to start thinking more logical because again, some of those drugs, once you hooked on to them, there's no coming back. And even if you think to beat something, guess what? It's still going to have a major effect or a side effect. Oh no, I know, bro. Listen, it doesn't matter if it's meth, coke, whatever, right? Those type of drugs is hard to beat, and even if you beat them, even if you manage to kick them, they already done did the damage. I done seen some people's faces sunken in just from popping specific pills and medications, knowing they ain't supposed to do so. Oh, trust me, I know that part. I done seen some people look like they was dying, literally. Like you had weight on you about 2, 3 months ago, and within that small time frame, you done look like a string bean now. Trust me, I'm aware of that. I'm from an area where for every 5 to 6 regular people you're gonna see at least 1 to 2 fiends. The sad part about it is 1 or 2 of those fiends might even be somebody you went to school with, or it could be even family. And in that same notion, you got to be on guard because even if it is that type of situation, you have to be ready to fight. I'm sorry because there's no way you want to tell me you're comfortable causing harm to innocent people or harmless people or defenseless people. Coco, what's going on, baby? It's been a minute since I see you in here, baby. Y'all just tuned in. Y'all already know hit the like button. Again, I don't like hearing stories like that. And again, I hope Buzzy Moms feels better, because again, shouldn't have had to go through that. You 88 years old. You are in the grandest stages of your life, and you're supposed to be happy and comfortable those grand stages in life when you up there in age like that. Even if you go on your normal day to day, you should not have to worry about no young person. Can't even say young. No, I can't. You can't think about some young punk because that's what a lot of y'all are, young punks. If you could go along those lines and cause harm to people that are defenseless or can't really, defend themselves the way they need to or how they used to, yeah, come on now. You're a coward. You're showing weakness right there. You showing weakness to that drug that you're using. You showing weakness to the people around you that probably did respect you at one point. Because I don't care how you moving in life, but I can't respect you if you're doing certain things along those natures. You harming or abusing any type of elderly or any type of kids, I can't fuck with you. If you are doing anything along those lines where it could be dire, I don't mess with you. Period. Can't do it. I'm sorry. Because again, where do we start picking up and start, making sense of this stuff? Again, nobody should have to worry about that. That is the lowest of the low when you are attacking. Even when you're attacking kids, that's the lowest of the low. And some of y'all comfortable doing that. Why? Because again, you're young punks. You letting the drugs take over you and you letting it affect your mind state. Instead of you finding another course or another choice of way to feed your habit. But then again, if you can't afford to feed your habit, you shouldn't be having the habit at all. Point blank, period. And again, you got people who are older than that. So what, you gonna hit a 90-year-old in the head, a 95-year-old? If they grand enough to make it to over 100, you want to hit one of them too? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's too much going on right now. And a lot of people have to start opening their eyes to the realization that's just certain situations. We gonna have to just, you're gonna have to choose it. As much as we don't want to, we're gonna have to choose violence on those who are preying on the weak and the defenses. That's crazy. Nobody should have to worry about that, especially if you coming home. And you see that recently, even in the news, they're pointing that out. There's too much of this going on. If it's not that they got drug problems, some of them got mental health issues. But as far as the ones who have drug problems, y'all need to either leave the drug alone or find some sort of way for you to hustle, get your thing on, and continuously do what you do if that's how you want to live your life. But it shouldn't have to come at the cost of somebody's well-being or even their life. Don't forget that part right there. Because again, it's easy to take a life. You can't give one back. It's just a sad thing because again, you don't want to hear news like that. This one thing, man. We really need to start building more of a community watch the way we supposed to. Supposed to build a lot of things back up so we can at least stop some of this from happening. Man, listen, I don't care what drug you on. The minute we hear something about you doing something you ain't supposed to be doing that goes against the morals and the standpoints of the law of land, you gotta go. Period. You have to go. Can't respect that. And then you don't really get no respect when you're doing things along those natures again. You just get a real bad karma that you shouldn't have to worry about in the first place. Again, think before you do. It'll be that instance right there that could be a moment between life and death and your life and death. Because if you don't get caught by the law for doing whatever, if that person ends up passing away, you're gonna get caught by the law of the land. And best believe somebody gonna have the word and the drop on you. So, I would think that some of y'all would want to say, you know what, let me just stay away from that. Or let me just push into another alleyway. Shouldn't have to worry about putting my hands on nobody that I know ain't really gonna be able to defend themselves. Like, not getting them out of that. That those drugs right there are gonna be a problem. They're gonna continuously be a problem. I would honestly say you need to go get you the help before you start going down that lines of doing those type of acts. I'm telling you, really gonna be sitting in there for 25 to life just because you couldn't control what was going on in your life. You couldn't control that moment because you was that fiend out for a fix. And again, prime example, what if you would have knocked the hard to the ground or hard enough to where she would have bust her head open? What you have did then? That's what I'm saying. These type of attacks don't need to be happening. Some of y'all really need to start putting boots in their asses. I'm sorry. You see somebody doing shit along those lines, nah, you don't get those. You don't get no love like that. Again, wake up. This ain't the way you supposed to be living life at all. And this ain't the way you supposed to be presenting yourself in life anyway, period. Sorry, but I think that's a cry not just for help. That's also just a cry that we need to start taking more of a stand. Because if you're allowing that to happen to the elder, you would allow that to happen to a kid, or you would allow that to happen to your kids or your family members for that matter. So again, think what's more important, the well-being of the people around you, or just your personal well-being. Because the same things that you might not want to take heed to or step into action on, guess what? It might end up happening around you. And again, you got to make sure that it's not one of those situations happening again. My bad, y'all. Be stuff like that tricky you. And again, you gotta think with reason. Definitely can't just move off an impulse. You need to have a clear sight on things. Your delusional thinking and the way you're moving, it'll come back to bite you at some point. That is the truth. So I'm saying you gotta love whatever process you love. Eve, what's going on, baby? But yeah, I don't like hearing stories like that. And again, I am sending healing prayers to Buzzy's mom because it's crazy. And then some of it is, was being linked to certain areas they really have no type of employment opportunities, or they not even trying to come together and bring opportunities for those who need. And this is why you're getting situations like that. Again, I feel no elder should have to worry about no young punk. I don't care if they on drugs or not, causing harm to them. Because again, if you could sit there and do that, you would do that to a baby. You would do that to a little one that ain't even on that type of time. You would probably even do that to a mentally handicapped person, which I feel that is the worst of the worst. People start being more vigilant. I don't care. Even the thuggies of the thugs got to start regulating the right type of things. Instead of worrying about killing each other, how about you worry about killing all the noise that's going on that's really messing us up? But you don't want to hear that part though. Um, you'll sit there and say something along those lines, and you'll have some people that are, oh, shut up, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. You just don't understand what I'm talking about. You don't. Because if you did, you would definitely be on it. And again, nobody of no age should have to worry about being accosted. The regular quote unquote 9 to 5ers or just the hard working citizens, they shouldn't have to worry about situations like that. But apparently, they must have missed that message because they ain't really getting no real guidelines or no real guidance from the people that should be guided. And the people that they are looking up to, these people are doing the same things that these kids are doing. So again, where you think they learning it from? They ain't learning it from home. They learning it from everywhere else that listen. There's time to come to that conclusion that drugs, especially drugs on that heavy magnitude, it ain't going to lead you nowhere logical. And if you think it is, you're delusional. Sorry, you are. And you're already delusional because you're doing something that you know for a fact you wouldn't have normally done in any sober circumstances. Period. You sober, you ain't even thinking to do stuff like that. They still have people out here tripping on angel dust and all that other type of. So again, and my thing is, if you taking certain drugs, you got to be ready to be on some killer time. And how would I know that? Because I've seen some people lose their freedom behind that, not being smart, letting that drug take over them to the point where they done really rode out on somebody and did something they ain't have to do. See, right there, you still have a choice to make a decision how far you gonna go. So do you think logical why you still had that time space to do it, or do you just run with that delusion? Because that delusion will set you up for all sorts of failure. All sorts of failure. Don't take my word for it. We've seen some people, we've seen stories and heard stories that have happened that way. You got people that are waking up not even knowing they in jail, and then they ain't even knowing they done did something that done cost somebody their life or done seriously hurt somebody. I can remember a video with this young girl. I think she was maybe 16. Get drunk as a skunk, not even noticing that she's about to go to jail for the rest of her life soon because she was drunk behind the wheel and managed to hit two people and both of them got killed. So that's double vehicular homicide, right? Now, what you think that story was like when she sobered up and really realized why she's still sitting there? She probably thought, like, yeah, she was in a daze. Yeah, this ain't real. Wake up and I woke up in my house and then look what happened. Still woke up in jail, probably looking lost in the soul. Like, why am I still here? Oh, you don't remember anything. Well, let me refresh your memory. Because I'm not gonna lie, some of those drugs will knock out your damn memory. That's why they tell you there's certain drugs you shouldn't just be delving with or messing with, because once you mess with them, you ain't coming back all the way. You're not. Angel, what's going on, baby? Serious, what's going on, baby? I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm sorry, because I'm trying to really I'm trying to grasp, like I'm really trying to grasp why this is starting to become a norm now. Attacking people that are defenseless. When did that ever become kudo points for that? And for some of y'all that are doing that, you need to think. Because again, what if the shoe was on the other flip? That was your mother, your aunt, your grandmother. Yeah, I'm quite sure you wouldn't want to have to think about that. But some of y'all don't think until it ends up happening at some point. I think that's a problem right there. I think that's a real problem right there. You're not thinking. You definitely just, lost your mind. Again, there's no way you're going to tell me you feel comfortable with these type of situations happening in the world around you. And that's why I said, there's just some things that you're going to have to stand on and you're going to have to really put your foot on. Letitia, what's going on, baby? Give me 1 second. Oh, James number 8. What's going on, my guy? So I ain't gonna be calling you red shirt and green shirt. I'm just call you James number 8. James number 1 is already dropping links. I see him. No, but again, you never know what to expect in this world of ours. But we shouldn't have to expect those type of things happening still, and even on a higher level. It's not fair because again, you're doing stuff like that. That's somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother, aunt, sister, you name it. They ain't gonna want to hear that. It's the same way if you did that if you did that same thing to somebody's elderly father, grandfather, whoever. They ain't not playing that. Somebody gonna want to take you out. I've always believed that when you cause certain harm and certain detriments to people, it come back to bite you in the ass one way or another. How it bites you or when it bites you, we never know. But it do bite you. My bad, I had to mute y'all. I think somebody was trying to come down that little. Yo, what's up with them three-wheeler cars? My fault to go off topic. What's up with those little three-wheeler cars I've been seeing lately? Them suckers is loud, man. I know they got custom speakers in there. Yeah, thought we was at a parade right now. My bad. But this is something that again, no elderly person, nor a child, nor a teen, because you have teens that are getting accosted even by quote unquote other teens and adults. It's not right. The minute you see or get wind of situations like that, you're supposed to address that and stop that right where it's at. Because again, that could be anybody in your family going through that right now. And I'm quite sure for some, they ain't gonna let none of that go down in no angle whatsoever. You know, and again, we have to stop being so scared to just stand up on what we need to stand up on and bring back what's necessary. Because again, some of this drug-induced crimes are coming because some of these people really are going through hard times. There's certain areas, depending on where you at, there's not really that much employment opportunities, and for those spots who might have employment opportunities, they ain't gonna want to look at somebody that already had either a previous record or whatever, even if it was the lightest previous record. Let's just keep it a buck. And then some of these spots, they actually could have been on the road to success, if not already successful. But when you got greedy people who want to just take the money that's being donated or take the money that they know is supposed to go to these damn programs and stuff and use it for their own selves, this is what you get. That's why a lot of them was going to jail because you're scheming and scamming the money from the government, fool. Like you think you was just gonna be able to hook up your house, do this, do that, and they wasn't gonna. Man, listen, they watching everything when it comes to money. In that same instance, is almost like them druggies that be trying to attack people. They only worry about the come up, the money, and the get high. I'm telling you, we can eliminate some of these problems because I'm telling you, a lot of them are punks. Or when they end up getting wrapped up and they end up realizing that even wasted their time doing something they ain't necessarily had to do, it's already going to be too late. You're going to be behind that wall sitting there. And see, logical thinking will tell you, let me try to keep myself from out the prison system. Because if I get in there, I know 9 out of 10, depending on where I'm coming from, I might not get that love and I might not even get them visits. So why would I go through that? If I got kids out here, why would I put myself going to jail and then missing out on their life and their opportunity? Make it make sense. You know, but I've always felt that way. Delusional thinking, we end up getting stuff like what we hear now, trying to feed the kids the wrong type of negative or trying to feed them the wrong type of information, knowing that this information ain't true at all. We got to get back to really fighting on all cause. Again, we got to start thinking more logical because the more we sit back, the more we going to start falling for those delusions ourselves. I'm not falling for nothing. I'm sorry because I've already fell for enough in life as it is. I'm not falling for nothing I don't need to fall for. And if I feel it don't seem right, I'm gonna do my own research, like most people are supposed to do. And that's just real facts right there. Appreciate y'all for dropping links and showing love in here. Y'all definitely some good ones. You know, like I said, it's crazy because that's something that you really that should be the last thing in your mind you have to hear or think about. Is somebody actually getting hurt or possibly losing their life because of a drug induced robbery. You know, that's what I'm saying. When you see some of these people out here looking at their worst and look like they up to no good, you gotta watch them and pay attention. Hammer, what's going on, baby? You know, and again, think about it. If you see something that look too crazy, then 9 out of 10 it is crazy. Like I watched somebody tell me the other day, "Yo, son, I just got home," and I'm like, "What the hell did you do, son?" I robbed the spot, but you robbed the spot for mad liquor, right? But in the same token, while you was robbing the place, you done cut your leg in the place, so now you have blood DNA evidence over it, and you got wrapped up a little bit later, and had to do some time, and you got mad. Whose fault is that? That's your fault. You shouldn't have did what you did in the first place.
Hey, Renee.
What's going on?
Oh, not much, not much. I'm just checking some stuff out here. Yeah, people go nuts on drugs and stuff. My aunt was like that, but she was a preacher's daughter. But the doctor, the judge told my aunt, man, that if you want to get off the drugs, it'll be clean off your record, and she did that. She did that, but she's long since passed away since then.
Yeah,
But it's hard. It was hard because she was a preacher's daughter.
it be like that. I'm telling you. It look
Yeah,
here. If you always get situations like that, some people be coming from the not the
yeah,
clingiest, but the preachiest of backgrounds, and some
yeah,
people end up delving into the wrong thing. Look at Whitney Houston, prime example.
yeah.
Came from a good
Everybody said she
background.
should. Everybody said she should have never married Bobby Brown in the first place. I've always heard about that, but she loved him, I guess. But everybody says she should never have married the dude. I have always heard that. You know that, Nate.
Yeah,
I have always
oh,
heard that she should have never married the dude. But I don't know if that was true or not. But it's always been around.
yeah. Hold on. Salute Magruder. Rachel, what's going on, baby? Go ahead, Tom. You good?
Yeah, I've always heard that. When Whitney got with Bobby, that was like the end of it. But I've always heard that she should have never married the dude. But I don't know if that was the truth or not. But I've always heard that in interviews with people who knew her, that she should have never married the dude. But like I said, I don't know if that's the truth or not.
Well, for some it might have been true because
Yeah,
for some feel like that probably would have saved her life. But then again, even
yeah,
if she didn't get with him and she ended up getting with somebody else who had that same type of problem going on, eventually
hmm,
you got hooked, and that's how it usually happens.
yeah. But but that was her decision to marry the dude, and now he's lost her and her daughter and his daughter. You know, Joe.
Yeah.
But uh, um, I just don't know. But everybody been talking about this other dude that's a nut. I'm gonna talk about him tomorrow. I just wanted to ask you a question about that too, if you don't mind.
But
Yeah, the dude that's the Gilgo Beach serial killer, but I just don't understand that. I'm glad I don't have that in my family, but if it did, I would have to. I hate to say this, Nate, but I'm going to tell you, I would have to change my name or fake my own death. I would have to do it because I don't want to be even though that's my relative. That's hard to shake. That's a
yeah,
fraternity I don't want to be in. I would have to give up my membership. You know, I would
yeah,
be ridiculed. I would be lambasted. Uh, I wouldn't invite nobody to my house because my relative is a no nut. Oh man, and that's a hard thing to shake. You know, what do? You try not to think about it. You try not to. What do you do? You got to deal with it. I guess you have to deal with it. But as for me, I would just have to I would just have to fake my own death and not know him. I would have to not know him, or just no matter how much you change your name, you're still gonna be associated with the person,
Yeah.
and that's a hard thing to do. But it's just a bad state of affairs. And he had this double life. He was an architect making money, I guess, but the people that really knew him thought he was kind of strange. But I wanted to talk to you about that tomorrow on my show, if you don't mind.
No doubt. I'll pop in on
Yeah.
it definitely.
As for my aunt, she couldn't. She smoked, and I was in the courtroom when the lady told my aunt, "You better clean yourself up." But in the end, she my grandfather wanted her to go to college, Seton Hall College, to be a preacher, but she dropped out. And it's hard being a preacher's kid. It really is. I'm a preacher's granddaughter. So it's that's a hard thing to deal with. She will always be a PK, but he will always find something. I mean, back when I was growing up, we didn't have drugs. All the people did was sniff glue and choke themselves.
Yeah.
That's how I knew that growing up. I know some kids in high school would sniff aerosol in their nostrils. I'm sure you probably knew some kids in high school back in the '80s, but that was the thing back then. You know what I'm? Am I telling the truth on that, there, Nate?
I wasn't in high school in the '80s, but I knew people who was, and it was a little
Yeah,
bit of everything back then. It was a little
yeah,
bit of everything back there because if it wasn't what you was talking
yeah,
about the sniffing, they
yeah,
was actually popping pills and doing certain
yeah,
things along those lines. Then,
yeah, or choking themselves.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
And what been going on, baby?
but like I said, crack was the thing back then. But right now it's oxycontin and fentanyl and all that stuff. And remember, somebody had a date rape drug and put it in their drink. I don't know
Yeah.
if they still had that then, but that
No,
was
they still
then.
got
But
it. What you think Bill Cosby got charged on? Using that same thing, Quaaludes.
yeah,
They still got those. They still got them drugs
I,
out there.
I gotta say that they should have. If he was doing that, then they should have resolved that then, because
Yeah.
all those charges was not you know was the statute of limitations was gone by then.
Yeah.
And but like I said, but Bill Cosby fought it. And but like I said, if they knew he was doing that stuff, then they should have nailed it in the bud then, not now. You
Yeah, but
know,
that's you know what. But I'm gonna tell you, I didn't believe some of it anyway
me
because
me neither. But like you know what, I think that the women got mad. I think it was all vengeance on their part. Some of it may have been true about them, but they didn't have the evidence to really prove it. Some people's memories changed, or whatever, or or the jury just didn't believe what they were saying. But like I said, if they could have proved, if they had a strong case, they would have proved it that he did all that. But they should have done it back in the '70s when he was doing all this stuff, instead of just keeping quiet about it all these years. I'm just saying.
yeah. But see, this the thing. Like I said, Tanya, I don't believe half of that.
Yeah,
I don't. I
I
don't
don't.
believe. Wait, hold on. I don't believe half of it because again,
Yeah.
if it's just now coming out, like if it was just now coming out at that time, again, forget just the statute of limitations. If that was the case, if that should have happened back in the day. He should have got himself arrested like a lot of them. Some people have thought they were slick and managed to get caught just by being too slick. So
Hmm. Like I said, they should have. If they knew that he was doing it, they should have taken care of it then, instead of having to wait 30, 20, 50 years just to bring it up now. And then the prosecution probably thought they was going to try to get a jury, but like they said, they say he did it, but they couldn't really prove it beyond reasonable doubt that he did all this stuff. And that's the hard thing to prove some of these cases. You know,
Yeah.
no matter how many women that pop up, they couldn't like prove that he did this and that and the other thing. So they were out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this is why I was saying, even if it was true, those, and I can understand what it is. Some women do be scared, and some people be scared, period, to come out and tell the truth. But you gotta
yeah,
come out and tell your truth. If you
yeah,
know certain things going on, tell your truth. Because
yeah,
when it's all said and done, and now if this is a person that's doing it on a serial level, you could
yeah,
possibly stop them from getting before they start having more victims on their belts.
yeah. But like what you and I say, that if they knew that he did this, they should have took they should have nailed this in the bud, and not not wait so long to file the charges now, waiting so long. Then that's the thing about some of the women, that if you're going to say somebody did something, you better have the proof and the evidence to back it up, and not wait so doggone long. That's the I think that was the main thing of all of it there, Nate, that they waited too long just to file these charges and not really nip it in the bud then. You know,
Mm.
that I think that's the thing that really hurt their case more than anything. If they knew he was doing this stuff, they should have took care of it then, instead of having to wait so doggone long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, like every woman, if you're gonna if you're gonna um put file charges, you better make sure you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, instead of having to wait. Don't wait too long. You better might as well nip it in the bud now. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't wait too doggone long, because if you wait too doggone long, then nobody's gonna believe what you say anyway.
Facts. Jersey Rich, what's going on, my guy?
Anywho, yeah, that you know what? Just like everything else, the people bring like uh like that, charges, and they don't know what they're. But like I said, you got to have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. If you don't, you're going to get screwed. Mhm.
Big
Anyhow,
facts.
how's your Sunday, man?
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
complain.
Me
Minus
neither.
all
I
the
no.
minus all the no minus all the biking noise I've been getting all day. But other than that, good food.
Yeah. Oh, that's
D Truth,
good.
what's
Yeah.
going on? What's
That,
going on,
that,
my guy? Congratulations, D Truth. Again, congratulations to D Truth for just getting monetized.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Truth. I'm on my way to getting monetized too. So I'm on my way. I got 1,000 something, but I'm on my way to get there to 3,000. So, just keep me updated. I'll keep y'all updated on that. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yo,
but like I said, women, if you're gonna file charges against somebody, do not wait too doggone long. Because if you do, you're not going to get the justice that you really want. And it is what it is. If you can't wait too doggone long, and then years later you remember, and then all of a sudden, uh, you're not going to get the kind of results you want. So it's hard to bring these kind of sex charges to people, especially people like Bill Cosby or anybody else for that matter, because you don't
mm,
have to prove. You got to have the evidence to back up your claim. You
exactly.
know, so that's my mantra for today.
Mm,
Oh, God. But some people just follow these. I think some of the women that's when it gets Bill Cosby was just freaking mad. They were just mad, and they thought, might as well get all these charges against him that are old, and somebody might lose their memory or say this or that or the other thing, or change their story. So
yeah.
that's hard thing to do when but they made the case, and they lost. You know, they lost. Like I said, you better have proof and back it up. Because if you don't back it up, nobody in the world is going to believe what you say. I
But
know it hurts
honestly,
some of the women. I know it hurts some of the women, but that's the facts of life.
but see, here's the thing though.
Mm,
Before it even gets that deep,
Mhm.
You gotta start building up that strength. If you know there's people out here doing stuff like that, you supposed to stand up and
Mhm.
make your voice heard. So this way, you're not just standing up for the victims. You're standing
Yeah.
up for those who probably already went through it, and you could even be encouraging people who might be probably went through it, or they know friends who went through it. So again, you got to be able to, inspire and reach the people one way or another.
Yeah, but like I said, you can't wait. You can't say that he did this and then you're not saying nothing for years. And then, like I said, they bit themselves in the foot. I feel sorry for them, but they didn't really back up their claim. You know, some people say that but anywho, so I'm gonna get ready to go to my workshop tomorrow just for another work day back in the trenches.
I hear you.
Yeah, it was storming out here last night, but it didn't. I heard my beeper go off. It says tornado warning, but I didn't see no tornado warning come through here.
Yeah,
So
that was just a warning, but
yeah,
we probably
yeah,
just going to get the wind or the rain of it anyway. So
yeah, yeah. I kind of figured it wasn't coming through here, but you never know. But it was supposed to be around about 2 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm just getting ready for Labor Day, almost the end of summer. So we're just getting ready for another long. I don't know if the weather's going to be just like last year or this year, but you never know. Knock on wood. So I like to wish you a pleasant week there, Nate. And
yeah,
hopefully I'll see you tomorrow when we talk about this nut. If you're around 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be live by then. Mm-hmm.
definitely, I'll be free by that time.
Yeah. Hey, women, if you're gonna say somebody did something to you, you better back it up with evidence. And so don't sit there years later and say this, he did that, and that. You better back it up. Okay. You better back up your words. If somebody's gonna back up your story, have somebody with you to back up your story. But sometimes 9 times out of the 10, people don't want to bring up these kind of cases because it's always difficult to prove the case.
Yeah,
It's always difficult. Anyhow, I'll see you later there, Nate, and have a good rest of your night there, man.
I definitely will, Tanya, and
Oh
appreciate you for
yeah,
popping in.
I'm gonna watch. There's a movie coming out September. Not a movie. It's a three-part of the Continental, a three-parter about the John. Winston, who rose up to the guy that you see in the John Wick movies, who took over the Continental.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a three-parter. I don't know if it's one whole week or just one week. I think it'll be a whole. It's on Peacock. I think it'll be a whole three-parter. So I'll be
hmm,
watching that. But I don't think it's a once a week kind of thing like it used to be back in the day. You know,
yeah.
you wait till next week for the next episode. But I think on Peacock it's a whole three-parter. So I'll be watching that. So yeah, you have a good rest of your day, and I'm gonna watch the creator when it comes out. It's about this whole AI thing, and I think it's really telling how far AI will go because they have a little girl that's a part of it. If you get her, you win the war, but you never know. But yeah, you have a good rest of your Sunday there, Nate, and I hope to see you tomorrow.
I'll definitely pop in on you. Definitely have a good one.
You too, Nate. You're peaches.
Peaches, Tanya. Word,
Yeah.
what's going on, my guy? I'll see you up in here, man. Shout out to him and Nation for popping in. But see, this is what I'm going to say over and over, though. This is something that the women should hear. And I'm going to say this too to even some of the young men out there who might be going through that same situation. Because again, those type of situations affect everybody. When they're targeting kids, it don't matter, both males and females. Those are the worst lows of the lows. So if you know you done been through something, even if it's embarrassing, you have to come out. The more you sit back and wait, the more people are not going to believe you when you decide to bring your story out. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, you could tell when a real victim is a real victim because they will know the date that it happened and everything else along with it. But see, this is another part of just thinking, logically, because again, if you don't think logically and if you don't put certain plans into motion, you're gonna get certain things you don't want. And again, why keep yourself silent when you could be possibly helping not just yourself, but somebody who's either been through it or probably been around it. And I'm going back to what I said earlier too. There should be no reason why anybody is thinking about causing harm to any elderly folks, babies, or even teens, or kids in that matter, period. And then again, it's time to make a change on that. And another thing I'm gonna say again, stop trying to feed these kids falsehoods and false dreams and realities that you know don't exist. I was still adamant about what I said last night, and I'm gonna say it again for those who need to hear it. Men do not menstruate. We do not get our periods. We do not birth kids like women birth kids. So I'm gonna need y'all, at least who trying to resonate with that side of the community, to stop feeding that lie and stop giving them that false hope that they could be any gender that they want to be. I'm sorry, it was coming out again tonight. Stop doing that. Let these kids decide what they gonna do when they not kids no more. When they are grown ups and they able to make their own decisions to pay their own bills and do whatever, then they can make their own decisions on what they gonna be and how they gonna be. Stop forcing it on them and stop not giving them an option to be kids. You know, Angel, go sit yourself down in the corner for about 8 weeks. See what I'm talking about? No, but it's the truth. You're gonna sit here. Well, tell that to them people that think that they are women. I'm sorry because this is not a shot again, but this is just a logical aspect. There's no way you're gonna try to tell these kids and feed them some sort of lie, and not the lie you should be feeding them neither, because you're damaging them. You're damaging their psyche. Period. Let's keep it above. You're damaging their psyche because you were planting a false seed in their head. And if they actually believe it, they're gonna go all throughout the whole distances to go make sure that they achieve that. Again, there's so many people who have stories that detransition because they thought they was on their way to be something and they realized what it was. It wasn't worth it. And in the long run, it messes you up because the more you mutilate your bodies on both ends, yeah, even if you decide you want to get back to normalcy, you're not going to be able to do all the things you really want to do. And that's going to be frustrating on you. No, it's not even about it's just people need to stop feeding these lies and stop running with these agendas. And again, I feel some of these agendas that are being pushed right now, even on the most vulnerable of all, which are the kids. Some of that is some of you women's fault. Not all, but some of you women that were parading for it, that you were sitting there telling the people, "Oh, you wrong for doing this," and yada yada yada, and they ain't bothering you, and why do you care? Because now, when you don't care about certain things, you see what happens. Now you have blatant disrespect all around the board. You have things being shown and presented in front of these kids that shouldn't be presented. We just spoke about that recently. Even down to their parades and stuff like that. It's not like how it used to be. Because I can remember being around one or two parades, not knowing that these were those type of parades, but you never knows because again, they wasn't presenting themselves out there doing that extra stuff. And even when you did have the cross dressers, guess what? They was only doing that for specific events. Other than that, they was their normal selves. They you catch them wearing either jeans or whatever it is they was wearing. Nowadays, you trying to take it a step further. Now you want to try to get implants. You want to do this, do that. Fellas, look here. I'm speaking to y'all some realness right now. Even if you on that side of the fence, be proud of who you are. But don't try to change to something that you're biologically never going to be. And vice versa. You women got to understand that too. Be proud of who you are. But in the same token, stop trying to be somebody that you know you biologically can't. It's just that simple. I didn't say nothing crazy at all, and I didn't even throw a shot. See, most people would have been throwing shots and bashing. I'm not bashing at all. I'm just saying from a logical standpoint, we have to stop with these creative lies that you've been creating. You have to stop. Stop feeding falsehoods to these kids that they going to really take into consideration. And for any parent that is forcing that issue on their kid to try to transition into something that you know they wasn't biologically meant to be, you are the problem right now. And you honestly need to be locked up. Because regardless to what that is, child endangerment. Because you're not giving your child an option to decide what they really want to do, and they still young. Come on now. You trying to mutilate their bodies, in my opinion, trying to transition them to something that they not. I'm sorry, you can't do that. And that's not fair. Because if it wasn't done to you, why would you do that to them? Acceptance is what it is. I can accept it if you on that side of the fence again. What I can't accept is the agenda that's being pushed from that side of the fence. And I'm not blaming the first three letters because when it was just them, everything was cool. There was a respect level. They wasn't doing certain things. But when the other two people came into that community, this is where everything started flipping and going crazy. I'm sorry, this is my view and opinion. And this is for fair use. This is a teachable moment. And no, I'm not causing again no type of disturbance, no division, no trying to create any type of imbalance. But I'm speaking from the outside looking in, and I'm a logical person. I just feel when it comes to those kids, you shouldn't be lying to them. And you shouldn't be pushing them to do certain things that they're not comfortable with doing anyway. You got to think about the long terms for some of y'all. For some of y'all that was thinking about trying to transition, you better think about the long term effects of that. Are you really ready to take all these different medications for the rest of your life to try to keep up that appearance? Are you willing to take certain medications to make sure you don't get infected in case you did have certain surgeries? No, again, live your truth, but live comfortably. Oh no, I know that, Angel, and that's the sad part about it. Again, you mutilating their bodies for what purpose? Just so you could be a part of some sort of global agenda that y'all trying to push? You're messing up the balance again. Everybody deserves to live free and live comfortably and also have the free will to think for themselves. When you are sitting here giving these kids options like that, you're not giving them no free will to think. You know, and that's a detriment right there because again, that again messes with their psyche. For all you know, like I said, it could be a phase. For all you know, it could be a simple phase. And if it is a phase, you don't want to mess that up. You don't want to mess that up by sitting there telling them, "Well, if this is how you feel, then you should do this." And you know what? I'm more comfortable for you doing this. And if you want to do this now, you can know. Like kids should be kids. Stop trying to give them all the options that you would give an adult. This is where the balance get messed up. So again, are we gonna start thinking logical, or are we gonna keep thinking delusional? You know, they are creating this narrative that just because acceptance has always been in effect, that we have to accept every little thing. No, even people on that side don't accept some of the things that's being implemented, especially on the kids, because that could be their nieces, nephews, cousins. You know, got to think about that. Why would you go that route? You know, and again, I ain't trying to trigger nobody, but again, that's a problem right there. You know, again, I know some people that are not for that, and they from that side of the community. They not for it. You know, you have to start thinking more logical and stop thinking delusional. Like I said, what's next? You gonna tell the kids they can become an automobile or a cyborg? All they gotta do is give up some main parts and they can live forever? Stop. Like it's like you feeding them fairy tale falsehoods. Sorry to sound that way. Just thinking logic. You know, there's a certain balance you're supposed to create for them when they are young, because again, they are impressionable. They soaking up everything, whether they learning from you or learning from whoever. And when you're not giving them again an option to think for themselves, or not even just think for themselves, you know, explore and just be themselves as kids, that's a problem. I appreciate you for putting that in there, serious. But I kept this copyright disclaimer up too as a notion because again, this is an educational purpose. I'm trying to educate my people that have been resonating with me and the people that might be resonating with me. That there's just some things we shouldn't be allowing at all. And as much as they want to try to incorporate it, we shouldn't allow it to happen. Again, you are free to make whatever decision you're gonna make when you are an adult. But when you are a kid, it shouldn't be forced on you. You shouldn't be having to learn about certain things along those levels. And even when you get a certain age and start learning specific things that we was always taught to learn, but you got to go about it the biological way and not the way you think you see it fit. What's next? You gonna tell me I could put on a pair of glasses and get you pregnant? I'm just asking the question, y'all. You know I'm being a little bit petty, but I'm being real right now. What's next? You gonna tell me I can put on some glasses and get you pregnant? No, that's not the way it works. You still have to have physical interaction and intercourse. Doesn't matter. There's a reason why the life cycle and the balance was going the way it was going. It was preserved. And for those who chose the other path, hey, that was on them. That was their decision. They was old enough to make that decision. It wasn't forced on them. They wasn't around certain situations where they was being presented certain things of that nature. So again, they were adults when they made these decisions to do what they did. But when you were trying to tell these people, oh, You know what? If you want to, you could be a bottle of lotion tomorrow. All you gotta do is just stop it. Like, I'm sorry. This is how I look at some of these things that are being thrown out there. And again, they are trying to implement these in schools, trying to implement these in areas like, look, we've had enough acceptance and tolerance. But it's just some things we're not going to continuously tolerate. And even they are getting uptight with that because now you're just trying to throw any and everything into the mix. No. Some people got to stop that. Stop thinking that that's the best course of action. Let's keep lying and keep duplicating a lie to see if the people want to roll with it or if they're going to get behind it. You already know certain things that people are not going to get behind. The most logical people ain't going to get behind it because there is no logic in that. If you're going to tell me that baby was born and delivered by a baby stalk, yeah, we're not going with that lie. I'm sorry. You have to do your due diligence. Exactly, Angel. I already know. Like I said, I spoke about this a couple hours ago about that. So you got some people who really are coming out the woodworks, just telling their stories. And again, at some point, there's just things that you know for a fact. If we don't start really standing up and buckling down on things, they're gonna keep throwing that at us. I mean, again, when is enough enough? When do the people come together and realize that we have a real serious fight we need to battle? At some point, you have to wake up and realize that these things not just affect your communities and your families, but it do affect your conscience at some point. It affects your psyche because how much are you willing to take, or how much are you willing to accept before you end up going off the deep end, or just completely giving up, which we should never give up. We still have a free right to think. We still have a free right to live the way we feel fit. And if we ain't treading no boundaries we don't need to tread, then what is the problem? But in that same token, got to be mindful again because who's coming behind us? The youth, the teens, the young adults is right up there too. Y'all got to start picking up the ball too and start moving a little bit better. I don't care what your background was. I wouldn't care if you came from the roughest of backgrounds or if you came from the most superb background. You still got to spread that message and really show a prime example to the youth and the people around you how to build and how to just be a complete person. Let me help you out with this if you need help with this. You know what? Here, I remember doing this. What you would want to do, I don't know if it's going to work for you, but I'll give you an idea on this. And that's how you started off. See, when it comes to certain topics, I'm just going to be real about it. I ain't messing with your 702. Again, you're not giving no real free will for anybody to think. That's almost essentially saying as soon as the baby come out the womb, you want to already have they life in order, or you want to plan their life or execute their whole life. No, you can't do that. That's not the way it works. Let nature take its course and let nature balance it out the way it's supposed to balance it out. I think that's the saddest thing. Yeah, real as when I'm doing my thing, I ain't just man, not letting this go. Because you have some people that will actually sit there and allow these things, they still allow it to happen. And that's a real part of delusional thinking. When you would allow any type of psychiatric harm to come like that, psychological harm, anything along those lines that would affect you and anybody else, you bugging. Again, it's time to stop the madness. Stop incorporating false stories, false information. It's time to stop. And if people ain't gonna wake up and really start battling these things, then you already might as well say we lost. You can't bring everybody, but for those you can bring, hey, you can set the blueprint. And for those who finally do decide to try to wake up before it's too late, that still have the time to do so. You could show them the blueprints on how to just move, the best possible light and not corrupt nobody. Keyword today, stop trying to corrupt. There's already enough corruption. You think corrupting the kids is the best way to go for the rest of the future? I don't think so. And that's just my view and opinion on it. And again, my views and opinions don't reflect on nobody. I'm always going to feel the way I feel, regardless to what's going on. You know, again, we have to look at the bigger picture at hand. And the bigger picture at hand is we shouldn't be having the defenseless or the helpless or even the most. Toronto, what's going on, baby? My bad, y'all. See, even when the devil be working overtime, that's how you know somebody really just being real with you. Sorry, I am. What else you want me to tell you? Conversations like this you need to have. And again, I ain't bashing nobody. I'm not judging nobody. Because in my opinion, I can honestly care less about half of your personal lives. Whatever you doing is whatever you're doing. However you living is however you live. But as long as you're not hurting and affecting these kids in the wrong way, or even the teens to that matter, we good. And I'd say that on any part of the fence. As long as you ain't treading those boundaries, good. Live your life. But again, you should be able to make that decision when you're a grown adult and not no little kid. Oh, really? You want to talk crap? All right, watch this. Watch this. See how he just walked away from you, son? Stop talking junk. That fool ain't even next to me right now. No, that was either the devil working overtime or that was stream art as usual, kicking somebody up out their own live stream. Sorry, I know y'all known for that right now. I don't care. I could be in the best of areas and you still kick somebody off they darn live streams. So what are we doing here, man? But again, I'm always going to be able to come to you with these type of conversations because again, it's needed. And it does set some sort of precedent and a balance, one way or another. We're not throwing this panel today. Hold on. Oh, shoot, my fault. Hold on, Miss 702. Darn phone tweaking a bit. What's going on, baby? Don't come up here being quiet. What's going on, baby?
I'm sorry, I had to disconnect from my Bluetooth. I had to
Mm,
disconnect from my Bluetooth. How are you doing?
I'm being light skinned as usual. I'm having a good Sunday, though. Mm,
Well, happy Sunday to all of us. But I just want to say one little thing. I think that all of us need to just get back to the basics. You know what I'm saying? Go to the eye doctor, go see your optometrist, go see your dentist, go see, get professional help if you need it. Word reminding me about support groups because I think a
yeah,
lot of people need like emotional assistance to make it through the problems that they have, and they need people to talk to and just listen to them. And I think a lot of people have lost their trust in other people because we all do not share the same moral compass. The person you trust today can be the person stabbing you in the back tomorrow, right?
yeah.
But there are professionals out there are support groups out there, and they are really wonderful for you. So I think the more that we just take care of ourselves, everything else will fall into the right places. Just the very basics, you know? A lot of people don't even have their medical cards out here to go see their primary doctor. Go get your if you ain't even into the doctor like that, just go get your once a year checkup and make sure everything is right, cuz the mind, body and soul, all that stuff is connected. Just take care of the basics.
Facts. Hold on, Lena, what's going on, baby? I knew you was coming in here, coming out the shadows, baby. You shadow babies better be in the damn studio making my album. I ain't playing with y'all, man. No, but you already on that one. I wish you would shut up. Damn bites. Sad when you ain't even outside of here. Your bike sound like it's 2 seconds away from exploding on the highway. My bad. My
Not throw Nate's dog. Why are we throwing Nate's dog?
bad. Nah, that's all right, Willis. That's all right. As soon as you think to go to sleep, he gonna lick you right in the face, son. He gonna give you all of last month's breath. Tell him he gonna show you who the real toe sucker is, huh? But you're not far off on all of that. And that's what I'm saying. Like some people just don't realize, life is so precious and valuable. You know, and you want to be able to say, all right, I'm building something, but yet I can enjoy it. I ain't got to worry about being cooped up, laid up, you know, or even possibly dead. Because what's the point of me trying to build something real successful and then I can't even enjoy it? I can't even say, yo, let's go to the amusement park and go do something. I can't even get on half of the rides. Prime example, if I'm in a wheelchair, I ain't gonna be able to get on nothing.
Mhm. But my question for you before I drop myself back down, because you know how I do, um, as we're getting older, people are getting into them late 30s, the early 40s, etc. What do you feel about like the music we listen to, the TV that we watch, all of those things having an effect on our mind too? I really am curious to hear what you got to say. I'm gonna go back to the chat and listen.
Shoot, it ain't gonna be that much you gonna hit. We know the difference between reality and falsehood. Again, we do. We know that the stories that we watch or the shows that we watch, Most of them are not real. And for those that are real, they are based on events. And yeah, they could, they could kind of, but again, you gotta know for a fact. Listen, this is all whatever, whatever. You gonna make how you want to make it. But the most we really get from a lot of these movies and shows, we just get emotion. I don't think those type. Listen, there are a lot of shows that I watch, even shows that I look like I want to cry, and it's rare you see me crying like that. But in the same token, I know it's just a show. It just triggered an emotion. That's it. I can hear 1,000 songs about shoot 'em up, clap, clap, yada yada yada. It's up to me to make that decision if I'm going to do so or not. I'll keep it a buck with you. I know people that came from that. Some of them was really listening to all the gangsters of raps. Stuff that somebody grandmother or somebody mom's down, cut that over, put something else on. Guess what? They ain't go out there and do nothing that they was hearing on these records. No, because they do not to tread those boundaries between reality and falsehood. Period. They have more of a logical thinking. Like most of us, we have a logical thinking. We know for a fact there's certain things, even if we watch it, we know for a fact it's just going to do nothing but trigger an emotion. But you got to come from it at a logic standpoint, period. You don't have to come from the most logical standpoint on it. Sorry, you have to. That's why they tell you, if in the event it could be a trigger situation for you, don't watch it or don't listen to it. Because again, if it's going to trigger you the wrong way, it's going to make you act out a certain way. But for those who have a strong notion of balance and know they're going to be able to get through it and sit through it, they're going to listen to it. They might relive something, but in the same token, they're going to remember. They went through it. They came out of it all right. They still blessed to tell a story and they still blessed to live their life, regardless to what. So people don't get that opportunity. But again, we don't come to TV and shows and movies of that nature. Look here. Even the ones that was based on real events or even actual true stories, like Goodfellas, prime example. We all know Goodfellas was mostly based on a true story, except for one character name that was it wasn't the actual person's name, but still, in the long run, it doesn't matter. Most of the story was true. So on that notion, yeah, it might affect some people because some people lived through it or probably had some ties to it. But if you don't have no real ties or basis to it, there's no need for you to let it trigger you. That's the thing you should remember. Think logical. If I know it's going to make me go off the deep end, I don't think I should be around it. Let me move myself from that situation. But this is what I'm saying all in all. You have to remember that. Be strong and all the chords in life. Not going to do so, you're going to lose this war in the fight. And yeah, Miss 702, you definitely going to hear eulogy tonight. Because I didn't hear you come up here and even spit none of them rhymes that you said in the studio, right? So what I'm going to need you to do, Miss Lady, is go see your optometrist. Yeah, but again, just do what's necessary. Get back to the basics. We have to start trusting each other because again, we got a fight that's bigger than us. And if we don't get it together, we're gonna surely lose. Again, just stop corrupting those who don't need to be corrupted. Let them be free to make their choices when they become adults. Stop forcing things on them when they kids. Again, you mess up their psyche and you mess up their balance, no matter how you look at it. Next, see what's going on, baby. I already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. But if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. The link is pinned up in case anybody else want to chime in. I ain't gonna get crazy, because I do gotta get up out of here. I gotta get up out of here at some point. But I said I was bringing that tonight. You have to start thinking better, doing better. Sorry, you have to. Shout out to the plug again, man. Got me coughing in here again. Um, don't force something onto people that wasn't forced onto you. And that's what I'm saying. Just be aware of what's being presented to them. Be mindful, and don't feed them no lies that you wouldn't even feed yourself, or that wasn't fed to you. Like I said, the minute we do start getting back to that basis, we can start really seeing that. We can start seeing the changes that's needed, and maybe the people can get together even more to a point where you can start bringing back what's necessary. You want to build a better future. At some point, you're gonna have to come together. You're gonna have to get out of them stigmas and everything that's plaguing you right now, because again, we're not gonna be able to see that golden opportunity if we are just stuck on standstill. Keeping it honest with you. You either gonna think logical or you're gonna keep living delusional. If you live delusional, um, even if something impactful does happen, you won't know if it's truth or not, because you already lost the source. And even if you thought you had an opportunity, it ain't gonna be what you thought it was. So again, you have to think before you do. And if you know you need the help in any way, shape, or form, you have to find a way to get that. Because even when you don't have specific people you feel you should have, there's always going to be somebody that will be in your corner for the right reasons. You have to open your heart. But yeah, there was a conversation that was definitely needed again tonight because, again, how far are you willing to go to force a lie on the youth? Seeing mostly everything that came into this open panel today, it's just facts right now. Attacked a couple different angles because it did play into the situation tonight. Logical thinking or delusional thinking. Seeing some people will live delusional because they will have a stigma or they'll have something about you and they won't even know you from a hole in the wall. They don't even know what your background was. Even if you was able to tell them that, they wouldn't be able to even probably be able what's going on. But you have those who will just make the assumption on things. Can't always just judge a book by its cover, number one. And for all you know, that person that you might be trusting might be the one that actually be in your corner when you need them the most. Yeah, my all in all thesis tonight again was just being real with the people and having a general conversation about things. This one, my bad. Oh, but I feel this is a general thesis to the world. Though, at some point, when do you start trusting the right people so you can make sure you are making the right decision, balancing out the things that need to be balanced out? And what we need to balance in right now is protection of these kids, protection of their minds and their spirits. Let them be who they are. When they decide to make whatever decisions as adults, then let them do so. Keep that balance in order at least. And like I said, we already live in a world of corruption from all angles. But in that same token, why should these kids and why should the future kids who are coming into a world be corrupted by lies and by false information and just by sheer greed and ignorance? I'm sorry. And there's going to be days that I'm going to bring a conversation and some people might not want to chime in on it. It's understandable. But I'm still going to have this talk regardless. Because if you're willing to allow any type of lie to affect your kids, you're going to allow it to affect the kids around you, the kids they play with. Come on. Again, at some point, when do we start really getting back together and start pushing on this fight? We got something that's greater than us that we need to stop before it becomes too late. And I really feel it in my spirit that this is where it's going. But which side do you want to really be on? Because if you're going to continuously sit here and throw lies out there and push that narrative and agenda that you feel is going to be beneficial for just the pockets and everything else and just messing up the balance in the world that we already have a messed up balance in, you're not saying much of nothing. You're giving these kids nothing but destruction and turmoil before they even get a chance to know themselves and grow themselves. Sorry. What you want me to do? You want me to say and sugarcoat it? Oh, I can sugarcoat it. But then again, I'm still going to come right back to this logical road that I'm talking about right now. At some point, we got to change that balance. And we really got to stand up and fight. Time is ticking. But this is what I'm saying, Miss 702. I can understand that part because we done seen and heard and even some points witnessed things that we should never witness. But again, you have to be able to trust yourself, trust your gut, and trust the instincts around it. If you know you do have people that you can honestly trust, yes, they are going to be in your corner. In the same way they will be doing for theirs, you know they're going to do for yours. But in the same token, sometimes too, you have to make a careful decision. But I think this was something good tonight. And, last night was just as good. I just had to shut it down kind of early. But I didn't go far away from nothing I've been speaking about. And again, it's not no attack. This ain't no every day I'm gonna make a video about it. I'm gonna just make this clear again. I only have an issue when you try to poison and plague the minds of the young. And in the long run, how could you feed a lie when your whole life is a lie? Especially if you already made that full transition, you technically are living a lie. I'm just being logical. You're living a lie. You're not really living the truth. If you was already living your truth, you wouldn't have had to make that necessary step. Why? Because again, why I tread that boundary. Again, I do ask, why would you try to be something that you don't want to be with? And vice versa. It's just a logical question. I expect to do get some emotional answers at some point during the road, but I call it like I see it. Call it spade a spade. Think I'm gonna sit here and waste my time sugarcoating certain things that don't need to be sugarcoated? I'm not. But I'm still gonna have a respect level. Don't get that twisted. See, I know how the rules play around here. On any board, I know how to play. But you gotta understand too, there's just some things everybody's gonna stand up on. Especially if you know it's wrong in all aspects. Don't get that twisted. There is still that law of the land and that code of ethics. And if you're not following either at all, guess what? You're just as good as gone. Like I said, I'm gonna call it like I see it. I'm gonna bring it the real way, and I'm not gonna feel any type of way because again, I'm thinking from a logical stance, just like everybody should be at some point. If you're living in the land in the world of delusion, at some point your delusional world will come to a halt. It will come to a crash. You will come to a sudden realization that what you've been doing and what you've been promoting ain't what it's supposed to be. Don't forget that part right there, especially when you are plaguing the mind of the young and the impressionable. But you know me, this was something that was definitely well talked about tonight. Like I said, you're gonna cover a different variety of open panel topics. It doesn't necessarily have to be on what I'm talking about. But I can always add, just like you can always add, and this is what the people see. See that there's people out here that actually care and want to see some sort of change in life. And the best way to change the course of history and even make it work in our opinion and make it work in our favor is coming together as a collective on certain things and just bringing it. We need to. The more we sit back, the more we lose out. And with that being said, I'm not going to hold y'all much longer. Um, I felt this part two definitely was going to come out. It wouldn't that matter if I did tomorrow night. I still going to do what's necessary. But I'm telling you right now, um, we have to come to a real conclusion. The best possible steps in life or the worst possible steps in life. If you choose to decide the worst possible steps and courses of action, you're going to always get the bad recourses of it. Again, allow these kids to be kids. I can't say that any more further than that. I don't care who you are. Let these kids be kids. No doubt, D True. I'm gonna pop in on you definitely. So I gotta get up out of here in a little bit anyway. But again, I said I was gonna bring I don't know three definitely be a three to this. I'm gonna do so. Again, if you claim to love life and if you claim that everybody should be free and everybody should be yada yada yada, right? And everybody should be entitled to live their life. How are you going to go behind and follow an agenda that's basically telling you the opposite? I hear you, D Troop. You coming home from the plantation? I'm about to head in. But again, these talks are going to always happen. Part three, I'm gonna try to make it a little different. Definitely going to be something special. So, without further ado, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Stop being helpless. Stop acting hopeless. Start being fearless and strong for real. Start taking those necessary steps. There's just some boundaries in life that should never be tread. I don't care how you feel. And you know that. If we allowing this to happen, we want to allow everything to happen. And we kind of already did. Because again, we focusing on all the wrong distractions. And we supposed to be worrying about the real problems that's in front of us day in and day out. But I'll definitely be back in the morning for that cipher. Y'all know what it is. And this part three will be happening at some point. I ain't gonna rush the process. See, I didn't rush this process tonight because this same stuff would have still been coming out of my soul regardless. I just know how to speak and talk to the people and talk from the heart. I don't have to write nothing down. I have to think about nothing. Once I've already been presented something, I know how to analyze it and I'm on go. So, and when there's certain things I know I'm gonna take a look into, I'm definitely gonna take a look into it. So, but yet I digress. Definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight and appreciate the ladies that popped in on the panel again. Shout out to 702, baby. Shout out to Hammer Nation, baby. I appreciate you, Sirius and Angel, and everybody who've been dropping them links here tonight. And again, congratulations to everybody who just got recently monetized or partially monetized and on the way to. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to bring real facts, real conversations, and at some point, real building. And we kind of already are building in one sense. But there are other building and blessings along the way. So that's how we going to do it, man. But let me get myself up out of here. I'll definitely be supporting some of y'all in these streets tonight. You know we're gonna be back definitely in the morning for the site. Might be a little morning difference, ain't gonna be nothing crazy. Snow always gotta chime in with y'all. You know, it's definitely a good conversation, and we're gonna look to have more of those. Doesn't matter who hit the pen. At some point, I might have some other people popping on the pen you ain't expecting to pop up. So we always want to get into that. And again, I don't want nobody that's coming across to think I'm being a bashful person or none of that. I'm not a phobic person or none of that. Whatever you think to throw at me, I'm not neither or above. I'm just a person that thinks logical and just stays real to themselves. So if you can't respect that, I can't respect anything you're saying as well neither. It's just how it's gonna go. I can love, respect, and tolerate certain things, but I can't tolerate when you try to feast falsehoods into these kids and into these teens and the impressionable people, even the mentally handicapped. Sorry, we're not doing that. At least not me. So, but y'all definitely was good, and we'll definitely be back. For those that might be catching the replay again, you might want to share this out. Definitely, we're gonna keep bringing this work. Yes, I do, D Truth. I'm about to get up out of here in the next couple minutes. Gotta be in that 10:30, bro. That's why I'd always pay to just work in your area sometimes, baby. But just like last night, it's gonna be somewhat of a short night. So, but again, these conversations will continue to happen, and they're gonna get to where we need to get to. The real people that actually care. That's all we can do. Um, y'all definitely have a good one. I'll definitely see y'all later on in these streets. And yeah, definitely appreciate y'all ladies for popping in on the conversation. Definitely healing prayers to those who need it. You know, and for all my shadow babies in the Shadow Nation, y'all know what it is, man. I know what it is. Sometimes it's good for y'all to come out the shadow and stop being punks. But then again, I know, I know. It's all good. I don't blame you. You do what you see fit. Like I said, support comes in more than one way. So, and we're gonna be building on every single occasion, every day. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. And for everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real builds. Yeah, like I said, we'll definitely be back for that early morning portion. I've set the reminder like I always do. And wait a minute before y'all all leave out of here. One of y'all owe me a fight. I think it's you, Sirius. Me and you got words today. Watch this. We got words today. Yeah, don't worry. We always gonna get out like that. But nah, y'all definitely stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And to the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.